And we have Vitaly Demyanuk, who is the Chernobyl Research and Development from Development Institute. Good evening. You know, it's a long and a complex story, and I think if we be very general for the foreign audience which is interested, of course, we would like to know definitely, so is it finally the things we've reached? You know, how safe is this new safe confinement? And, you know, what is the next challenge?
Exactly, new safe confinement is safe. Because it was the main purpose to, when we started to build the new safe confinement, the main purpose was to eliminate negative factors, negative radioactive factors. So now it's quite safe, but we still need to think what we will do with the shelter object under the new safe confinement. Because for the current moment we are working on, together with Chornobyl Nuclear Power Plant, together with state agency, which is charged in running Chornobyl Exclusion Zone, we are working on different scenarios, what we will do with a shelter under new safe confinement. There are some unstable structures which should be stabilized or should be dismantled. And we need to make decision what we are going to do with the fuel enclosed mass, with radioactive materials inside shelter. So I think that the work with these scenarios will be finalized in coming 3-4 months, and then we will go on the next step.
It's really interesting to find out, so how much time, you know, you said a couple of about months, but the whole story with the new safe confinement, you know, it taken years because it's a huge, you know, 10 years, it's a huge project. So these next steps, for how long, you know, if we need to deal and to secure the shelter?
Actually, this scenarios planned, when we will have different scenarios, we will consider it. We will find out where from we will find the sources of finance for financing this process, and then we will see how long it will take. But in any case, we are facing the question, we are facing the challenge, we are facing the issue, what to do with the shelter under the new safe confinement.
So, some says that 2.3 billion new safe confinement project is almost a race against time. And so what is your assessment of the whole damage which had been already done as a result of the whole tragedy? And could the whole thing be done earlier? If we speak about, in particular, the covering.
Yeah, you know, we have different calculations, different experts made their own assessment, but I think the Chernobyl disaster, the tragedy that happened, took a lot of money, took a lot of people's life, and this money are much, much bigger than we spent and international community spent for a new safe confinement. Exactly, much, much bigger.
So what is your sense of the future for the Chernobyl site?
There are also few scenarios. If we consider the territory as whole, there could be a different direction of using. First of all, we are trying to look on this problem from psychological aspect. We went through disaster, we went through tragedy, but now we need to think on Chornobyl Exclusion Zone as a territory where we can which we can revitalize, where we can develop different of activities, including activity from handling, storaging, disposal, processing radioactive materials, including activity which is linked with alternative energy, and exactly there are going to be some biosphere reserve as well. So Chornobyl Exclusion Zone could be some kind of like a unique one-of-a-kind research laboratory, not only for Ukraine, but all around the world.
And at this stage, I think the world have learned a lot from Chernobyl. Unfortunately, we Ukrainians, Belarusians, and also people from Russia close to the territory suffered a lot. But, at these things you're working now, Ukraine is working now, what else new we know and we are learning from the process of, covering this tragedy, not covering, but, trying to get out of this tragedy?
No, actually, we passed all this way. So Ukraine, as any other countries all around the world, has the experience from very early stage till this moment. And if on the first stage we considered the situation only as strategy, which should be eliminated. Now we are trying to find out what positive can happen inside exclusion zone, what we can do, what could be useful for us as Ukrainians and for international community. And exactly, Chornobyl Exclusion Zone could be the territory of engineering. You saw this, that new safe confinement is exceptional engineering work. It could be the territory of new energy. It could be the territory of research.
And finally, still, we're talking to the international audience. Can we somehow to calculate the numbers of the victims of the tragedy, the people who passed away? I'm coming from the town where all my fathers, his military, were really liquidators. So it's not like in my town, everybody was affected. But have we ever have this kind of a proper statistics?
This is 100,000 people. This almost million people that more or less were covered by this strategy.
You mean about people who passed away?
Yes.
So that's something obviously to remember. Thanks a lot for this insight, and we also showed our report. And also we would like to give you the chance to listen to Vince Novak, who is the EBRD Nuclear Safety Department Director, as the EBRD was also the part of this effort, and that he says as well how safe it is.
We have done, as you know, huge stabilization of the shelter, which was completed in 2008. It has been a huge difference. So probability of collapse has been significantly reduced. But now with the new safe confinement, even if this happens, nothing will leak out in the environment. Yes, it will create a mess within the new safe confinement. Nobody wants this to happen. And this is why part of the strategy is this early deconstruction of the most unstable parts. As you know, the shelter has license until 2023.